Hi. In this video I would like to tell you about my perception of my own life. And I'm not saying about my own life, I'm saying perception. Because perception is key. I just had a long meditation because I felt strange for the last few days. Yesterday I had a day where I literally did nothing. I was home alone and that was fine. I just let everything be. Apparently that was needed. And this morning I felt I needed some answers. And I thought it was all related to the hashtag #MeToo. As you know, I had my own experience, and because I had been reading in the official Facebook group about hashtag #MeToo, about many different cases, it really got to me, and I reacted to a few. Not so many, because I could not read so many. It made me very aware of what's going on in the world, what's going on in me. And the last one is the most important for me. I believe what's going on within you is the most important for you, not what's going on outside of you. What's going on outside of you is simply a reflection of what you have in you. And people may disagree with this. Thank you. People may disagree with this, but even during World War II, there were people who were not suffering from the war because they chose not to get involved. And life guided them away. Like there are also people, at least one guy in Japan, who for some reason chose to be in Hiroshima when the first bomb dropped, and then went back to Nagasaki, and then the second bomb dropped, and he got second-degree burns from both explosions. And he survived. So you can believe that everything is luck and random. Good luck with that. Then please stop watching my videos, because you will not resonate and they will not help you. My videos are mainly for those who believe there is a purpose for everything that's happening. There's a good reason, even if we cannot see it immediately. And it's not because we cannot see something is not there. If that's what you believe, then you're stupid and arrogant. That's why there are so many problems in the world. That's why so many scientists are keeping new scientific discoveries from getting through, because they have big egos. They couldn't see it, so it doesn't exist. Or at least until they die, so their egos don't get bruised, or they don't have to recall their own publications. But I strongly believe that there is a good reason for everything. And I came to believe that through seeing, through life experience. And this is why I would like to share with you two perspectives on my life. Perspective one, the drama. That was the one I've lived from the age of 7 till the age of I don't know, 42 or so. It's quite long, 35 years. I know that some of you are not even 35 yet. And I'm talking about the years that I remember. So what I can remember is, from that perspective, that is, until I managed to leave Tunisia, because I was born in Holland. My father is Tunisian, so I lived in Tunisia during my youth, visiting Holland regularly. I had one goal only: surviving and leaving that fucking country. That country full of ignorant people who had not seen what I had seen and were judging me for being different and for having seen other things, out of jealousy and out of ignorance. And I believe jealousy is also ignorance. Why? Because you have exactly what you need in the moment that you need it. And being jealous of other people, meaning you are not synchronized, you're not aligned with yourself, with your purpose, and with your life. So, yeah. And that was how it was back then too. Not aligned. I was more or less at the beginning, but then less and less, and I was suffering. I remember that even going on holiday during my teens to Holland was not fun, because I was suffering so much as an adolescent that I stayed unhappy. And mainly because I didn't have the right people around me to talk with, to connect with. So I hated my life, I hated Tunisia, I hated the Tunisians, I hated everything about that country, except for the better weather than Holland. And I remember I started to like again going to Holland from 1990, because I got some freedom. In Tunisia I had no freedom. My father had an important position, and everything he was doing or people around him were doing was under scrutiny. There was always some people who were looking to gossip or to tell or to whatever. So I didn't have the freedoms that my classmates had. So going on holiday to Holland, I started to get some freedom. And I would get a job, a simple job. I didn't care. I was owning my own money, and I was free to do many things. First summer 1990, a little bit less, but 91 much more, 92 even more. And then in 93 I finally moved out. Moved to Holland, back to the country where I felt more home and where I was born. A country where I felt I could be more myself. So you would say, hey, life changed. Well, yes, it changed, but new challenges came, and as I got my freedom, which I never had really before, I did not know how to deal with it, so I did a lot of crazy things. got me in trouble, of course. I always managed to land on my feet, and I got from one job into another and improving. But at a certain moment you've done everything you wanted to do when you were young, and then what? Sometimes being in a relationship, I was happy for a while, and then I would enter a routine, and the kind of routine that was purposeless. And yeah, I would get more responsibilities in my job, but also that would mean more headache, more shit. And I didn't really like it, but I needed the money, so I kept doing it. So basically I was a prostitute. Prostitute of company 1, of company 2, company 3, company 4. Doing it for the money. So I could spend that money on bullshit, and I would have to go back to earn more money, so I could spend it again on bullshit. So, yeah. And that is basically the kind of life that most people are leading. Yes. Most people are leading this kind of life. You go out to earn money so you can spend it on stuff that you don't really need, on things that don't really make you happy. And then you have to go back to earn again. You get in this vicious circle. Sometimes it's not even a circle anymore, it's a spiral, a downward spiral. Even if you're earning more, you will have more expenses and more bullshit. And this I kept doing till the age of, what was it, 37, 38, something like that. No, just before 2008. I joined a new company in 2009. I started to feel purpose again. I had the feeling that I was contributing to the environment, to the world we live in. So therefore, a year and a half, I had a good feeling. I was earning good money, I could save from it, so I didn't feel like I didn't feel at all, actually, from 2009, I didn't feel at all that I was going to work because I had to. I was going because I wanted. That I hadn't felt since the early 90s. There I had a period I also had a job which I really liked, and I was going for fun. And even when calling in sick, I was not happy calling in sick. And they wouldn't believe me in that first job. But I don't care anymore. It was their shortcoming, it was their reflection of their own. So I had this job where in 2 years' time I had only 2 times that in the morning I woke up, I was not in the mood to go. I was less often sick. And yeah, I was enjoying. And during those 2 years I applied everything, but really everything I had learned until then in my life. Even the most useless things, at least what I thought were useless that we had to learn at school, I used them those 2 years. I could apply them, or I could use them as knowledge or whatever. That was really interesting. And then, due to some corruption from some shareholders, people playing with money in hedge funds and whatever, company went bankrupt. They just sucked the money out of the company, because that's what these people do. And they think that they're happy, but actually they're in that circle of they need more money because they need to do more bullshit, because they're looking for something to make them happy. and they don't give a fuck if they destroy other people's lives. Well, they didn't destroy my life, because I ended a period of 2 years where I learned a lot about myself. And then in 2012 I got my breakthrough. I got the breakthrough, I broke through the barrier that was installed back in 1979. I was 7 when I had my #MeToo experience. And then my life started to change, and I started to take different kind of decisions, not accepting certain things anymore, not accepting the bullshit from a boss anymore. I was very clear on what I wanted and what I didn't want, on what I would give and what I would not give, because I'm an employee, I'm not a slave, for example. That was one of my mottos. And yeah, that helped change my life a lot. And then at a certain moment in 2014 I decided I would quit the job I had, and I wanted to focus on the coaching more, not doing it on the side. I'd been doing it for 7 years on the side, and it never really got off the ground. So I decided to change my life, and part of it was moving to Romania. I mean, that was in 2015, but in 2014 that slowly became clear. And then there I was in Romania, and then what? A new country, and you know, have to rebuild your network and gradually start to realize that your old network was really from your old life, people with who you do not resonate with anymore, and that the new network was a mix of both. And then having great ideas, and then trying out many things. Some things succeed, some things don't. Then you come to a point where you ask yourself, okay, why are things not going super successfully? And why are things going the way they are? Why do I feel the way I feel about it? Second perspective then. I was born out of love. My parents met, and the first day they met, my father fell in love and asked my mom to marry him. Her version is that it took him a few days, but I don't care. It was fast. That both of them agree on. So the traditional way was, because she was living in Holland, but she was on holiday in Tunisia, and he was living in Tunisia. So back then they would write letters. So after a year they got engaged, and a year later they got married. And one of the results of the marriage was me. I even know which address and which room I was conceived. Actually, the room, I'm not sure. It was the one I was sleeping on, my mom was sleeping, but it was at my grandfather's place. Some people simply know. And then shortly after my birth in Holland, I moved to Tunisia, where I was raised in a country that was still quite primitive in many perspectives. It was liberal, it was not a typical Muslim country, not atheist either, but because so many people were still very limited in their knowledge of the world, not so open-minded. Somebody at my age of 7 touched me inappropriately, which shut down big part of my emotions. So my emotions got blocked. This led to me not getting into a burnout or a very deep depression during my youth, because I had trouble adapting there. I've learned what it means to be discriminated. I've learned what it means to be different, not to be accepted. Also learned what it means to be right, knowing that you're right, but the rest of the world don't see it, at least the rest of the world being the people around you, because they haven't seen it with their own eyes, so they don't believe something is possible or something is different. Being judged for being different. And at the end of my teens, I managed to leave the country back to Holland, where I started working. Never went to university because I was done with school, but I had the opportunity to just start working and having well-paid jobs. Actually, I started with a job I really loved a lot, which was at the airport police. It was super cool. I mean, early 20s, and you have a uniform with stripes, and you have authority. You get to catch bad guys or preventing people from being hurt, robbed, structuring things, helping in the testing of the Schengen, because Holland was one of the first countries to implement Schengen, and yeah, I was one of the pioneers to help testing it. And I loved airplanes, I loved airports, so I was in the best spot. And as a kid, who doesn't want to be a police officer? So yeah, I had everything you can imagine, and well paid. And my parents were far away, so I was free, and I was living in Amsterdam, so I was not such a stranger anymore. I was not so different, still different, but yeah, there were so many foreigners, people from so many different nationalities and cultures, and also many people being mixed, like me, having two cultures in them. So yeah, I was lucky to meet some great people from the beginning, within the first few weeks of me being there. I already had built up a small network before, but it's really started to grow, and yeah, some of these people are still friends of mine. Talking 1993, so you can imagine, it's 2017 now, so 24 fucking years. And I made a lot of mistakes, which taught me a lot. Not always on the moment itself, but gradually I started to realize things, to learn things, to see things, to put different things together, and then getting the bigger picture. I had different jobs at a certain moment after I left the airport, and then I landed at Vodafone, where I learned a lot of things the hard way. We're also laughing a lot, we had a lot of parties. I still have a t-shirt from those years. I still know a few people, mainly people I'm still in contact with are mainly my part-timers, some very bright people who I just felt they were the good people, and I listened to my intuition and I hired them, or if they were hired by my manager, regional manager, I would keep them. And after that I moved out from sales management into recruitment, which was completely different experience. Also there, I had to learn certain things the hard way. In total I had 2.5 burnouts. The second was the heaviest, and the third was starting to pop up, but I realized I had learned from before, and I took some decisions and took a different path. Kept meeting very interesting people. Met a mentor who showed me that there was more to the world than just the 3D that we see. And then I found a job again where I felt I had purpose, where I really had a lot of fun. I was appreciated for what I was doing. After 3 to 6 months, I needed 3 to 6 months to settle in, but after that things started really to change and I had a lot of fun. I was deciding on what I was doing, basically. I chose my responsibilities, I chose the projects I would jump on. Yes, there was always somebody who had to approve the big things, but at the end it was me who wanted to do them, and because I felt they were needed and I could sell that. So I really had a lot of fun and worked my ass off most of the time, but also after a very intense period I spent 10 days in Spain working just half days, spending my afternoons laying in the pool downstairs. And yeah, that was okay, because there was balance. It was giving and taking, giving and receiving. It was not even taking, it was receiving. And yeah, it was a very interesting experience. And after that I went into a period where I was put in front of a mirror and I started to discover a little bit more who I was, to realize what I'd been doing with my life, where things were leading. Because in the first perspective I was working to make money to spend it and then having to work again. But here I can, from this perspective, I can see that I was growing. Not always being aware of the growth at the moment itself, but you collect in your way piece of the puzzle. At a certain moment you can put them together and then you have a beautiful puzzle, beautiful picture. You can continue from there. And then when the moment was there, I got invited to an introduction evening of an American guy. And the only thing I remember, because I didn't have much money at that moment, I was unemployed, coaching was not really going well. That was cheap, it was 10 euros, it was that evening, and it was about breaking through blockages. That sounded great, so I went. The rest, I did not know anything. I saw the guy at work. That evening I also met a lady who became one of my closest friends. And I got some insights. The guy was working with other people, but I got some very good insights. Within 3 weeks I had a new job. Within a week I was visiting my father to have a good talk with him about what had happened to me in my life and my youth and my relationship with him and everything, which strengthened a lot, it improved a lot our relationship. And my coaching started to change, and then a few weeks later I was assisting that guy in doing a breakthrough workshop Oh yeah, forgot to say. After the introduction evening, that was on a Thursday, on Saturday, Sunday I had my breakthrough workshop where I broke through. And then the guy asked me at the end of Sunday if I wanted to assist him, but I said no, I'm going first to talk with my father, and then a few weeks later I assisted him in another breakthrough workshop where I met another very good friend of mine. And yeah, life changed. My breakthrough consisted of realizing that what happened to me at the age of 7, the hashtag me too, that it had blocked me emotionally, resulted in a huge chain effect of events, of actions, of happenings, and yeah, I could start the process of healing, of rebalancing myself. So yeah, my life really started to improve, and long story short, I decided that I had to share what I had been learning all those years, not only from my mentor, but I had been learning through all my experiences, through other people. Some of them were very loving to me, some of them were a huge pain in the ass, but in their way they were also great teachers. And that's when I decided I would focus really on the coaching, on the sharing, on the teaching. And recently I realized that it's not my job to heal people. I see people who are great at healing people, but often people fall back. So I know this lady who works with realigning the spine energetically without touching you, and she's good at it. And she did it for me and it helped me. But because I didn't fix the source of my unalignment, my back problems came back. And I could go back to her, and then she would realign me again, but that was one of the experiences which led me to decide I will not heal others anymore. Yes, I can help someone to take away some urgent pain, but I will always suggest that the person finds the reason for the pain, for the troubles. And the same for me. If I twist my ankle, I can take away the pain, but then the pain will come back if I don't realize why I twisted my ankle. Because if you twist your ankle, it means you were walking without paying attention, you were not really in your body when walking. And that's why you made a misstep. So my life today is really very different from what it was before, and saying that it is better would be not appreciating all the life lessons I've learned. I very consciously said a few years ago, I do not regret anything I did in my life. And yet, there are moments where I wish I would have done things differently. And that's not accepting. when I just wanted to say now, I should simply accept that. That's when I got it. I got my ping, this light bulb above my head, which went on. Accepting that you feel shitty, accepting the reason why you feel shitty, it's the only way to move away from it, for it to dissolve, for it to transform, for it to change, for your situation to change. I often say you cannot change something if you don't first accept that it's there and then you start working on it. Makes sense. If there's a big poo in front of your front door from a dog, you can just be mad and not accepting it, and you'll stay in that anger. If you take a breath, not too deep when you're close to the poo, of course, and you just accept, like, yeah, it happened. A wild dog or somebody not paying attention while walking his dog. That's why there is a pool in front of my door. Then I just peacefully clean it away. Problem solved. But first need to accept that, yeah, it happened, it's there. Can I change it? No. Cannot change the past. But what I can do is to clean it up. When literally in front of our door, multiple dogs start peeing, I got annoyed, and then I was like, okay, I cannot change what happened, but I can try to change the future. So I used some bleach to clean, and I left bleach there on that corner where they would pee all the time, because dogs don't really like bleach. If there's one pee, then the other one, oh, I need to put my signature, and then the third one comes, no, this is my territory, my signature. Psst. So if there's no dog smell, and there's even a repellent smell, like, ew, bleach, ee. You know, dogs, they smell, they have a much stronger sense of smell than we do, so for them it's like, ho-ho, from meters away, like, we're going that way. Problem solved. Yes, we humans had to smell for a few days the bleach as well, but it's not like you stand in your front door all day. It's just you walk through and that's it. And yeah, problem solved. So me feeling strange lately with the hashtag #MeToo being so present, reminding me of what happened to me and mainly the consequences of what happened. I mean, what happened to me was seconds, not even a minute, but the consequences were decades. And seeing the stories from those people, and yeah, I can let myself be dragged down through my own past, the part that I do not accept, or decide to accept my past, to accept my life. Sorry, move the camera. And live from there. Everything I experienced in my own life has led me to where I am today, has shaped me to how I am today. It has shaped me all of my life. And I believe that today I'm much more in alignment with myself than I was before. I want to say I'm not perfect yet, which is not true, because everyone is always perfect, because the way we are is related to all the lessons we have to learn in life. And the way we were yesterday would not work today, and the way we are tomorrow would not be good for the way we are today will not be good for tomorrow. But that's why we change as well every day. And some people seem not to change at all. And they're probably changing, but so little on the outside that to us it seems like they're very stable in their own way of being, in their own world. And I know a few people like that, and I had trouble accepting that, because I was growing, I was evolving, and they were still in the same place. And this is why I had to let go of many friendships, because we simply didn't resonate anymore. Sometimes that's painful, because friendships have been there for years or even decades. But yeah, for people living your life, there is space that gets created, and then new people come into that new space. And those people normally resonate better with you. And if they don't, they're just there temporarily to teach you a lesson. So this is a different perspective of looking at my life. It's different from the first one, but we carry both of them inside us. We all have these moments where we see the bigger picture and we feel okay about things. And we also all have these moments where we are in the middle of the drama and we really feel bad. And we're sad and we may be even angry. That's okay. We are complex beings. We are not computers who are working with 1 or 0, so it's a plus or a minus. No. We are human beings. We are very complex. We are growing. We are evolving. And that's why we create very complex situations as well. That's why often there are no simple solutions. I mean, there are simple solutions, but we don't accept them as simple, because we will come with all the exceptions and all the yeah, but this, yeah, but that. And then you may ask, what is your purpose today? Because in the first version, yeah, I did not have purpose, and then now I'm like, yeah, why are things? Yeah, well, my purpose during the first 40 years of my life were to learn, to build up experience, to grow smarter. Maybe not consciously, but at least to have all these experiences, all these life experiences. Beautiful ones, tough ones, and accumulating, collecting, putting them together, and at a certain moment after my 40s, things started to make sense. I could connect the dots. And today, because my intuition is back, because I can feel again much more than before, my role is to continue working on myself. And my other life mission is to share. That's why I network. That's why I organized, together with a dear friend of mine, and with the help of other beautiful people, friends in business. That's why I organized charity events. That's why I organized workshops, some alone, most of them working together with wonderful people. That's why I make my videos. and you may have noticed that the quality of my videos have improved, also the physical quality, the image quality, and that is thanks to a wonderful person who gave me for Christmas last year the tools I needed. Beautiful set of 2 lamps with their umbrellas and tripod. So yeah, I'm getting always what I need to do. And when I work on being aligned, I'm not always perfectly aligned, but when I focus on it, I can be very aligned, and then I know exactly what to do, when to do, and how to do it. And it doesn't come from here, it comes from here. So this is what I wanted to share with you in this video. We can look at life from different perspectives. And I told you the same story from 2 different perspectives, and at the end I showed you how they are connected. And I hope this makes sense to you. I hope this will help you to realize where you stand and from which perspective you're looking at your life at different moments in your life. And I encourage you to simply ask me if you have questions. If you want to work with me, feel free to ask. But most importantly, feel inside you what you need to do, and what you need for it to be able to do it. Watch this back if you feel you've missed the point. And looking forward to making a new video, hopefully inspired by your comments or questions. Have a beautiful day.